Antoine Christopher back again, as you know. Taster's choice as always. So I got a question this week. Very excited. It's coming from Mark. How important is background in an overall composition? Now that's a great question. But before I answer it, please don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Really appreciate all the support. So, getting to the background, as you can see, from the last time I left you, I had this, the background wasn't there, I do believe, and I started my pastel background, okay, which is important. So right now, since that question is a very good question for what I'm doing right now, how important is it? For this particular drawing, it's very important because I don't want to make the background detailed and all that, because I want to keep your eyes in the center of the caricature. I want to keep your eyes centered on the nice 1930s car, and I hope you can see that really clearly, and the gun with the bullet out here. So this is, the light source is going to be coming from this side of the building. This is more, not as bright, but the sun is going to be coming from this side of the building, so that's going to be pretty cool. So the background design, the background is very important. It all depends on how much you want to make the front come out, okay? Because you can have a busy background and you kind of lose the subject in the front. Or you can have a blurry background and bring out what you want to see. All right? So that's important to remember as you're drawing it. For me, I already have it predetermined that I want the caricature, the car, and buildings are like not that important, but important. Okay? Like when I had this bike here, Honda Hurricane, the background was important, but for me, it was more important to bring out the attitude of the bike. All right, this is the Ninja 1000. So I just did a basic thunder background with a tornado coming down. I added some reds for excitement, devilish, aggressiveness. And then I put all my focus on the motorcycle. Not so much the rider, even though he's wearing basic leather, motorcycle leather suit. But this was done in acrylics. This is acrylic on illustration board, or a canvas board, and I kept the color. This was actually the first color I believe the bike came out with back in '87. So I'm very happy about that. So I'm gonna grab my kneaded eraser because I don't want to lose too much of what I've got, my pencil line, and I'm actually gonna shape, the back of the car. As you can see, I'm gonna take away the pastel from the drawing. You see how the gun has it coming, the pastel comes over into the gun. This is the time consuming part though, but this is the part where I actually go in and I take away and I shape the drawing. I can even make changes from here, right? I can even make changes from here. So I don't want to over color the drawing so much that I forget where my lines were, because it's very easy to do that. So you want to take away that. You want to shape it up nicely, clean it up nicely, because I'm still going to go over with gesso for when I start painting this little guy here. So I still have to put gesso into this. So now, as you can see, the most important part you want with your background is you don't want it to be so busy that it's taken away from the subject, the things you want people to focus on. Okay? For this particular one, I want you to focus on the gun, the bullet up here, okay, the little tiny bullet up here that I'm going to clean out so you could see it clearer, because obviously I'm going to probably put it in puff paint and do all that great stuff to it, right? But as you can see, the buildings are just basic blurry buildings. I mean, you're not going to get that much detail. So let's just say my drawing, this wasn't really the main thing I want people to see. Maybe I wanted them to focus more on advertising the car, the 1930, whatever kind of car this is. And I wanted the background, so I wanted that. I would blur him a little bit more to show him, but I'd bring out the car more by putting more emphasis, more detail, more sharper lines on the car. But because the background is, just buildings, it's in the distance, it's not what I really want you to focus on, but you have to do it at least clean and clear enough to see, to make it look like the background, but at the same time, your focus is right here. So it's just an added thing. So right now, as you can see, I'm cleaning that up. I go like this. You're probably wondering how I came out with the background, why that background, why buildings and all that, right? Well, this little guy here, the Borsalino, and it wasn't me that gave him that name. It was actually the guy, my friend, that gave him the little name Borsalino. But back in the day when it was gangsters, people were, that hype, mafia, they had shootouts in the street, So I said, okay, so he's going to be in the street, he's going to be in a shootout. There's going to be buildings in the back. They usually popped out of the car and they pow, 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 pow. So I wanted that effect for this little guy. Even though it's exaggerated, I still wanted it. Like back here, oops, sorry about that. Like back here, I'm going to add in this little, kind of like a gun spark to show that a bullet is flying towards him, but I'm not going to put a bullet. I'm just going to have the spark, which is going to be really cool. I just threw that in now as I thought about it, so I drew it really quick, because that's where it's going to be. And then I want to put emphasis on the bullets hitting the ground, the gold of the bullets. So this is where I want you to look. The bullet. This is where I want you to look. The car, I want you to also see how cool the car is going to look. Because when I make this car so nice, and again, you're still going to have this. This is going to be blurry, but not as blurry as the background. So for me, it's going to be one, blurry, not so blurry, sharp. And the Tommy gun and his pinstripe suit. And then down here, it's just basic. This is going to be just whatever street is, basic, cement, tar, whatever. And then I'm going to have the manhole. Manhole, again, is going to be blurry, but I'm still going to make the light shining on it to make it look like metal, which is going to be fun. And again, my thing for me out of this drawing here is to really bring out the bullet, the gun, and him. So I'm excited about that. So I'm going to just show you a little bit more of how I come up with it and what I do, my process. And like I said, for me, I go like this, I shade it in, and I blend. Okay? And I take my time, there's no hurry. Sometimes the paper has defects, little tiny defects. And I step back and I say, okay, is it too sharp, too not? And then I go, no, it's not bad. Let me put some window sills in. So I'd come here. Okay, so the background, has to tell the story with the subject matter. It can't just be the background is, it doesn't have a story. Everything should have a story in the drawing. Everything should make sense. Even though it's a caricature, everything should make sense. Everything should be in a line. It should have a meaning, why I'm drawing. The buildings can't be today, 2019 buildings. No, it has to have character of back in the day. So when I created this, I said, okay, the background's got to emphasize the time period. And emphasizing the time period helped me bring out what I needed to bring out. So I'm literally, focus on making it look good. But remembering, back then they had a lot of awnings. They had a lot of mom and pop shops. There wasn't a Starbucks in every corner of the street. I always wanted to say that, but anyway. Okay, so here I am. So I'm just drawing, as you can see. I remember, this is all pastel right now, and I'm having a great time being loose. It's not like I'm doing my Michael Jacksons or my, celebrity drawings where it has to be tight. No, this is the background. It has to be loose. Even in some of those drawings that I did, like the Jordans, and last week I think I put up Mayweather. The background I still put a lot of detail and emphasis on making sure the gradation was smooth, making sure there was no potholes. And when I say potholes, like some patches darker than the other. You gotta make it consistent. You always gotta make it consistent. You gotta put as much effort into whatever you're doing. Don't draw, I like to say, if you're gonna do it right. Don't draw half-ass, okay? Don't draw half-ass. Even if you think you're not getting paid for what it's worth, give it your all, because you never know who's going to see it. And for me, that's important. Some people, even if I get $500, I'm going to give that person $1,000 artwork, because I know when they see it, they're going to be, oh, wow, I didn't expect that. That's what you want, because it's very important to artists. They're getting a piece of you, technically. And it's very important to artists that you appreciate. You show gratitude. You're so grateful. Because you could take a picture, which is great, but I would like to say an art piece, a portrait of anything, scenery, whatever, captures time, captures the emotion. You're not getting that from a photographer. You're not getting that from a basic picture. For me, my preference. But you could pass this drawing down. It has meaning. There's love behind it. It's like it came from something. It was created. It was done. It was, painted. So that was somebody's time went into that. And that is very important that you get that across, even on the basic lines. Like I'm looking at it right now going like, oh, that's cool. Okay. I'll continue doing it. And I'm putting effort into everything. So as you can see, I did a little bit of the window on the bottom in the background because that's a little window. I'll come here. I kind of went over my gun, and because that section is so important, I gotta clean up the gun again because I don't want to. One thing I don't want to lose is the gun. I don't want to have to redraw my lines because it's so balanced out right now. It's like that, right? So once again, thanks for coming by. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is Antoine Christopher signing out, coffee in hand. Part of the drawing done that you people have seen before, and I'm looking forward to showing you when it's completed. Have a great one.